Thank you, Mr. Khan. Good evening, everyone. So, as always, these closing remarks, my brain is a mass of what I need to remind you about. So a quick recap from our esteemed guest speaker. Thank you so much again, Mr. Azure. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Azure gallinule is one of my favorite birds, so, you know. And he reminded us that coming into an election cycle, there were three main things that we needed to look out for. And this is both himself and Mr. Kirkpatrick. That is opportunistic crime. That is people who are looking for a situation in which they can take advantage of. That is political unrest. This is unrest that is deliberately created around our political parties. But again, this year, and I think we all need to really commend the police force for the fantastic job they have been doing. There has not been any real incidents. And right now, as far as I know, the prognosis and the anticipation is that we are not expecting any. So I think this really deserves a round of applause, especially given the brutality of the flag wars. Have you all seen it? So, and of course, the third and probably one of the most important areas, misinformation. Because we know that during an election cycle, people are in a heightened state of fear and distress. We never know what is going to happen. And the spreading of misinformation is probably one of the most dangerous and most destructive forms of what is essentially local terrorism. Now, again, as our speakers have reminded us, there are a number of things that we can do as security personnel and as citizens of Guyana. Of course, being members of Professional Guard Services, you have a responsibility to keep yourself safe and our clients. That is fundamental. You are responsible if something does happen, if there is an incident, to respond appropriately. And you are responsible as citizens of Guyana to vote. So, whatever your shift is, whatever your expectations for that day are, start thinking now about what you need to do in order to make sure that you're able to exercise this democratic right. We cannot, as people, sit down and complain about what happens to us if we are not willing to put ourselves on the line and make a choice about who we want governing us. Now, that said, I do want to remind everyone about one very ticklish area of this for us as security providers, and I suspect for those in the armed forces also. Our responsibility is to uphold the rule of law. And it means that despite what your personal political views may be, and especially if your political views differ from those of the people who you are charged with keeping safe, it is for us to rely on our professionalism and put aside those emotions, rely on our procedures, and remember our duty, our greater duty beyond election day and beyond whatever happens thereafter. Again, not that anybody's expecting anything to. It's to our nation, Guyana, and to our fellow citizens. So whether I agree with you or not, or you have voiced opinions that are not my own, we within the security sector do not have the luxury of choosing. Our duty at the end of the day is to maintain the rule of law. Now, with those words, I want to thank everyone who's here today. Again, our esteemed guest speaker and Mr. Kirkpatrick for their kind words and very much for their reminding us of our responsibilities. I'd like to thank our many clients who are here today. It is not often that PGS gets such a wonderful response from our clients for an annual award, so thank you very much. We are going to take this as an endorsement that we're doing the right thing and you're not ashamed to be seen with us. And I would really like to thank the many new partners and old who are in the room today with us, because I don't know, for those of you who maybe this is the first time you're visiting us, for me on the other side of the table, it's wonderful to see the number of new institutions like Term Finance and the Red Cross and the Health Center at Kitty, who we now count among our close partners. Of course, we've got the people we depend on, our backbone, Miss Primo, who we're always proud to, because we are always proud to say at PGS that all of our uniforms are made right here in Guyana. But thank you once again to all of you for taking the time out on a Saturday afternoon to be with us. All right, and I would like to say a special thank you to the lovely decor items that our HR team have been putting up every quarter. So if you would. And I'm done.